Hello, everyone. I'm Russell Royce Laurie. I am the creator of Facebook's Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata. Yes, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight to interview another one of our guests. I'm interviewing with David Archer. David Archer is going to come on in a few minutes and just tell us about his Hero Body Project and a little bit about him, what he loves about the dance world, contributions to bachata, how him and I met, um, and anything else David wants to talk about. He's a great guy. I've met David a few years back when I was in Austin, Texas. I met him at a dance social. You know, he's a good guy with a good heart, very honest, very loyal. And he's very professional, very successful, and he takes care of himself. He takes very good care of himself. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to bring him on. So he had the opportunity to talk to you guys about his project and how it can help the dancers, specifically the male. And you know, he's a good guy. So I'm going to bring him out in a few. But before I do, I just want to make a couple announcements. Uh, as everyone knows, Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata is having our anniversary event in a couple more weeks in Hialeah, Miami. And I am thrilled to be there. I haven't been in Miami in quite a while. As everyone knows, I used to live there, and I made many great friends. I attended many events, different organizers I met, various dancers. I'm very proud of the Miami dance community. Hey, you guys are doing a great job. Specifically, Dance Awakening, who were my instructors, who got me back on my feet to learn how to dance. You guys are the greatest. You guys are good people, and that's the reason I asked Dance Awakening to host this year's Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata anniversary event. Okay, so if you guys can make it, come down on May 6th, down here to Miami. It's going to be a great event. I'll be happy to see all the members in person, to meet all of you guys, dance with as many people as I could, so it's going to be a wonderful evening on May 6th. Check with Dance Awakening for more information on that. And I also will post some reminders on the event. Also, if you can't make it to Miami, then that's fine. My good friend Dola, he's having his World Dance event up in Baltimore on the same day. So, Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata, if you guys cannot come to our anniversary event on May 6th, and by all means, go to Dola's event, okay? Whichever event you go to, have a blast, okay? And if you can't come to any of our events, go to some event, okay? No matter what you do, go to an event, enjoy yourself, support one another, support your colleagues, support your dance team. I encourage you to do so. Um, I just want to say I decided to take Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata to a different level, okay, for 2023. For the last 2.5 years, I've just been posting stuff and sharing your post and all of that stuff. So I want to do something a little different. I wanted to, I know you guys, but the dance world don't really know you, right? So I want to give you guys opportunity to sell yourself, market yourself, share yourself to the dance world. Let them know about you, let them know what you do, and make connections, and so this is an opportunity for you to shine even more to the dance community, and not even to the dance community, to the world in general. Okay, and that's one of the reasons I'm continuing to do these live interviews, and I'm having a great time. I'm having a wonderful time. I'm still in Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta since November. I haven't gone home yet, but I will. It's wonderful here. The people are fabulous. The food is great. Dancing is awesome. If you guys need any contacts or information on who to contact, organizers, and if you want to teach a class or whatever, let me know. I have lots of people I can refer you to who I know, and they're very good at what they do. So I encourage everyone to, come down to Georgia, Atlanta, just check it out. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. I cannot emphasize that anymore. So Atlanta, thank you very much for everything that you do to the dance community. Okay, enough talking. I know I got to stop that. Every time, I do these interviews, it's like an hour and a half, chit chatting. So, but let me introduce our special guest. Okay, David. Okay, as I said before, I'm honored to have David on today. And David is gonna, talk about, everything he thinks he can talk about. But we're gonna begin by talking about his project that maybe that can help me because I'm trying to focus more and love myself more and try to be a little bit more on top of on top of everything. So I'm going to try to listen carefully to what David say because some of that stuff, most of that stuff, could be applicable to me. So guys, enjoy this interview and please. Oh, before I say anything else, for legal purposes, no one is allowed to save these recordings, download these recordings without permission from myself and the guest. Today, the guest is David. If you get our consent, then that's fine. But just for legal purposes, I'm not allowed to, you know, have you guys like, share these contents or whatever. Okay. But anyway, let's get to David. Okay. So David, can you come on?
Hey, how are you?
I am great because you're gonna tell me how to take care of myself.
Well, I'll share what I can for sure.
David, can you please tell everyone a little bit about you? I know you're not like the rest of us, one of those like everyday bachata, salsa, mambo dancers. I know you don't
Sure.
like do that every day, but you dance, and so just tell everyone a little bit about you, please, please.
Yeah, so as far as dance goes, my time with dance has been relatively short-lived. Um, so when I was, I think I shared with you when we chatted yesterday. When I was in college, I just wanted to do something to kind of get myself out of the box. All I was really doing was working. I was on the soccer team at Texas State University and going to school, and that was it. Like that was my life, and I just wanted to do something that kind of got me outside the box. And so I did something that was for me at the time extremely uncomfortable. And I signed up for a dance class. It turned out to be a salsa. One of the variations, I think it was um, like Venezuelan or something like that, a particular type of salsa, and it was like a 6 week deal. Um, and I kind of fell in love with it. Now I don't know more than like the front, back, side to side bass salsa these days, but for the time it was kind of a big deal for me to step out of the box and do something that I was so. I mean, I was crazy shy. Um, I never talked to girls at all, so just being that proximity and having to like I was a bit of a hermit. All I cared about was playing ball. I thought I was going to go pro, um, and my uh, academics. So it definitely opened a world for me. And then fast forward years later, I want to say 2016 ish. I kind of left a phase of life that was tumultuous to say the least, and was just kind of sitting down and really kind of taking inventory of what was going on, and had to make a decision. Um, it's going to sound really dramatic, but essentially it was like, do I lay down and die, or do I simply take the one next step? Do I move forward and do things that will bring life back into my life? So bachata was one of the things I did. Like, when I was in college, I did dance, and that was just like, it got me out of the norm. It got me just kind of present, and I enjoyed it. And so I went to where you and I eventually met at Inspired Movement there off of South Congress, and tried a bachata class for the first time. I was like, I don't know what this is. Is it like supposed to be like old people dance? I don't know, man. I don't know why I'm here. And I absolutely fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with it. So, and for the next couple of years, 2, 3 years, religiously, almost every single week, I would go to one class. I never stayed for the socials. Maybe once or twice. I went with a social to a social, but it was with my girlfriend at the time. But it just sort of, for me personally, it became something that was extremely cathartic. Helped me stay loose, helped me stay limber, because at the time I was doing bodybuilding competitions, and I had to maintain a certain physique because I was doing shoots for fitness products, and so there was a lot going on. And the dance helped keep my frame loose. It helped keep me in good shape. It was enjoyable. It was therapeutic movement. So yeah, long story short, that was my history with bachata. And sadly, it's been a few years. Been a few years since I went to a class, and I miss it an awful lot. So, um, but yeah, that's kind of how that wrapped up.
I want to say something about inspired movement. I um, I wasn't really like a professional bachata dancer until I attended those classes by Inspired Movement and Fabian Bustos. If you're on, Fabian, I want to say a big thank you to you because you kind of helped me appreciate what bachata is really about. It's not just before I came to your class, Fabian, I used to think it's going to bachata as a way to pick up girls and just be like a gigolo and just like look good and look pretty and everything and whatever, but no, it's not like that. I learned bachata has it has to do with a lot of respect, not only respect for women but respect for yourself as well, for the men,
Mm.
right? And so it's not only a dance where you just learn to dance and you dance with a woman, then you go dance with another woman and whatever. It's that, and you build on your confidence, you build on yourself, you develop professional relationships with people. So I mean, David, I know I'm a little off the topic here, but the inspired movement. I mean, I never really said that, but they helped me have and I still do a great respect for not only bachata but for the dance industry in general. So I just want to say a big thank you to Inspired Movement and everyone involved in the Inspired Movement and all the friends that I've made and I met David and stuff. So yes, I just wanted to squeeze that in real quickly, David, about Inspired Movement. They're they're on top. They're on top of their games.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll piggyback on that. They were always extremely professional, and more than anything, they just made it feel like family. And it
Mhm.
was very respectful. It was loads of fun. I never left without learning at least a handful of techniques, um, and the extra help was always there. It was yeah. If I'm jumping on the inspired movement bandwagon, anyone in and around the Austin area, if you're not going, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You need to check it out.
Austin is wonderful, Dave. I be honest with you, bro. I didn't want to leave Austin. I mean, prior being I'm a city boy, typical, New Yorker and city New Jersey boy here. I had stereotypes about the South, and like
Sure.
if I come
Yeah.
down to Texas, going to Austin, I'm going to walk around, and I'm going to go into someone's house. They're going to get bored, take the shotgun, and just shoot me, and be like, I heard like all these stuff. My friends in New York and New Jersey say, "Don't go, don't go. We're not going to see you again." And I'm like, look, let me prove you wrong. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go down. I'm gonna show, I'm gonna show everyone that Texas is great, and I'm gonna start with Austin because I just arbitrarily picked Austin. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a globe. I just spun the globe. I close my eyes. I point my finger. Where in Texas
Really
I'm gonna go, and it said Austin.
interesting. Okay, I didn't realize.
So I'm like, Austin is the name of a person that I know in high school. I didn't know it's the name of a place in Texas. So I packed up and I was supposed to be there just for 2 weeks, and I was there for almost a year, and I fell in love with Austin. They're good people,
It's
just in
hard not
general.
to.
Even outside of the dance world, Austin is
Yeah.
just very nice people. That there's no more for me to say. It's just
Yeah.
great people. And David, you agree with me, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's. I mean, no matter where you go, you're going to get a mix of characters, right? But
Mhm.
overall, just the feel is awesome. Everyone's very welcoming. The dynamic food culture there is outstanding. The dance, obviously, everybody knows where to go now. But it's amazing. It's one of the favorite cities I've ever been. So I definitely am looking forward to moving back.
So, David, tell me about your journey. I know we kind of talked about this just a little bit recently. So, after Austin, but now you're in New Jersey. I just want everyone to know I'm doing this interview, even though I'm in Atlanta. David is in New Jersey.
Mhm,
So,
that's right.
so, run that by me once again, and just let everyone. How did you between Austin and New Jersey? What were your
So I'm
journeys?
I'm originally from, well, I was born in New Jersey. My dad was
Okay.
military. We moved all over the place. But my little brother still lives here. So I decided, once upon a time to do a little bit of traveling. And then landed here, ended up meeting a lady, and we dated for the better part of 15, 16 months. Um, Unfortunately, that didn't work out. But, I'm currently still here in New Jersey and looking forward to doing a bit more traveling.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And just so everyone knows, I am planning to come back to New Jersey soon, at least for the summer. So I'm looking forward to attend uh, events by organizers. I'm looking to connect with the dancers. I'm looking just to see everyone again. And I'll also look, and hopefully I can see David somewhere on a dance floor this summer. Somewhere. But I'm looking forward to come back to Jersey. Um, David, bro, you smile. You keep smiling, bro. You remind me of my nephew. You have that Rico Suave smile. You know,
Thanks, man.
you know.
Maybe it's just the camera quality. That's all it is.
Okay, bro. So this hero body project stuff. It's fascinating. I like how the videos, the promos, the designs. I mean, are you the? I'm going to share a video that you sent me last night, and I'm so sorry if I forgot to share it. While you were in the back room, I just remembered
Sure.
that. Oh, so sorry. You can tell my mind is. but but are you the one that actually put the video together? Did you have an assistant? Did you do the graphics? Like it's wonderful,
Yeah.
bro.
So
It's
so, and I appreciate that the kind words. Essentially, it was just the video you're about to play was just kind of a stream of kind of pick and choosing bits and pieces from different client interviews that I'd had before I matriculated to what is now the Hero Body Project. Previously, it was lifestyle fitness strategy. Then it was before that was mind body blueprint. Then it was fitness by life by design. Like as any entrepreneur, any professional knows, like you gravitate as you grow, so does your business. And so just recently, I landed on the title Hero Body Project, which I feel is finally the best fit. And I can explain why. But the video, yeah, every piece of content you see me put together or rather, you see me put out there. I put together on my on my MacBook using like the basic level of iMovie.
I like it, bro. I mean, you're like I said, like when I introduced, I don't know if you saw all the nice stuff I put about you, but it's true. I put like professional and like
I
like
did. I appreciate.
prestigious, and everything else. I like how you did the videos and stuff. I mean that's fabulous, and you make me feel good, Brand, because you're a New Jersey boy. You make me feel proud of New Jersey
I'm
people. Yeah,
trying to. Yeah.
New
I'm just.
Jersey
Yeah.
people.
I'm.
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool. We know what we're
I'll be
doing.
honest with you,
Well, not me,
Roswell.
but
I'm just.
but they know
Um.
what they're doing. Yeah, yeah, they know what they're
Yeah, for
doing.
sure.
They're
For
good people
sure.
and they're smart. Yeah. Um, David, so how do you want to do this, bro? Should we go ahead and like play the video a little bit, or you want to tell people a little bit about
Yeah.
the Hero Body Project? You tell me. You tell me.
I'll give it a preamble. So again, this is just something actually I used for marketing, and it's just handpicked some bits and pieces of client interviews designed to kind of tell a bit of a story, um, and that I did, gosh, maybe a year ago, 8 months ago, maybe not. So 6 to 8 months ago, I put that together as I was kind of moving into this. I won't go deep into it now, but maybe after the video, I'll share why I kind of put it together that way and the direction I'm taking, essentially the skin of my business and rewrapping it in something much more cinematic.
Cinematic. I love that word, bro. Love that word. I like that word. Okay, let's play it. Is that okay with you, David?
Sure.
Let's play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shoot.
Oh God, I love this video so much. Like, okay, okay, here we go, man.
Like you having somebody there to partner up with me to walk this journey, you know?
So when I started doing this, I have noticed myself doing better in other different parts or different aspects of my life.
I've dropped weight. You know, my appearance has gotten a lot better. The attitude, everything, 180 degrees different.
I mean, you were able to point it out and help me say, okay, this is the mantra, this is the formula right here. These are the tools. I'm giving you all of these tools, and I'm even going to show you how to implement these tools.
Wow, okay, he's teaching something new. This is a master class.
So you gave me the reality of it all, and I needed someone to be real with me about it, and that's what made me that's what made it click.
It's higher level learning without calling it that. It really is.
That's the new training now. That's what should be taught.
Not only am I changing the way I am, my appearance, not only am I changing the way my mentality, but
And even though I've been a seasoned veteran in this is really upping my game even more.
You got to step out knowing that you've been wanting change for so long, and you know what it is. You know what life is like to keep doing the same thing over and over.
There, you may not think that you can aspire, but yes, you can.
I make that just because I decided to make this one change, I can make other people around me, better.
I'm a completely different person than 7 weeks ago.
And just to know that, man, it just brings a satisfaction. It brings a purpose in life.
Stepped out and tried something new, and wow, it's been amazing.
So, David, ask you a question, bro. While I was watching this, I was uh, being very respectful of the comments, that were said by the people uh, that you came in contact with, and how they responded. And one of the responses, I think it was from the lady with the hat. She was saying something in the sense that it's really like learning. It's something that really captivated her, or just made a difference.
Sure.
It's not
Yeah.
like one of those things that, it's not like something you just buy at a drugstore or whatever, you take and whatever, or like, and you're like, oh, I feel good, and I feel great. It's like these people, specifically these people in the video, they were touched emotionally, right? Not
Mhm.
just physically, emotionally, by you and what you did for them, and how their lives are different. So when I mean different, I don't mean just, okay, I feel good, but they're more confident, they're more comfortable with who they are, not only what they are, but who they are. Okay, maybe I'm over analyzing the comments from these people, but that's what I got. Okay, but I feel that you did your job. That's what I'm trying to say, and you touched these people in areas that they never imagined. You made them feel on top of the world. So
Sure.
when you play this over and over, and you sit back and you look at their face, their expression on their face, the words that they say, what goes on in your head? Like, how do you feel? Like, what thoughts going on in your head? Like, do you feel like, damn, okay, or like, wow, like, what? How do you feel, bro, when people comment?
I'll be honest with you. I get excited. It makes me working with people and helping to open their mind to possibility and defend their hope when they feel that hope slipping. Uh, in short, is why I'm on this earth. Like that's why I do what I do. And so to see these clients as in these interviews, say, I'll just ask like, hey, what was your experience? And that's essentially like I always kind of ask the same 5 questions, like what was your experience? What was the thing that sticks out to you, learn most? What's one piece of advice you would give to somebody who is in the same position? Like it's always kind of the same questions, but the answers always have a slightly different complexion. Like it depends on who the person is and how they kind of navigated through their journey. But selfishly, there's always been a learning component to everything that I do. And I don't mean just learning for myself, but also providing the information for the purposes of people moving forward or breaking through that glass ceiling where they are mentally, or just understanding that despite their difficulties in the environment that they came from, if they simply cultivate a new environment, starting with massive ownership of the results they produce, and create a vision that they can get intimately connected with, then the pieces start to come together. The muddy waters get clear and the path becomes very, very direct. Not simple, but direct. And so to answer your question, when I had these client interviews, and they're just sitting in front of me, keep in mind, these are people I'm having calls with weekly, people I'm having group calls with, text, all that stuff, like massive amounts of support. And for them to kind of flip the page and say, hey, listen, man, like you did this thing for me. Sometimes I well up. There's a couple of guys, one guy I've been working with for 3 years, and a couple of times now he's hit me when I wasn't expecting it, and he's just like, it's awesome. It makes me feel incredibly humble. It makes me feel I don't know if justified is the right word, but a confirmation that I'm living out my purpose. And it's not just through nutrition. It's not just through the training protocols, but the mindset, like taking somebody who is in a place just like a downgraded sort of mindset, and they're accepting less out of life. And we've all had friends that are like that. You're like, bro, like, why don't you have this gift? Why don't you use it? Or, you have all these great things. Why are you upset? Opening up their mind to possibility and watching them move forward in ways that make sense for them, and not doing it for them. I think that's the key. Any good educator is an inceptionist, right? Is skilled at creating a foundation, creating a structure, but then allowing that person, in my case, having a curriculum and allowing my clients to be curious, to explore, and through that exploration, especially for guys, we're very, very linear in the way we approach life. Through that, just being attached to a process that's linked to a goal, even if it's 3 years down the road, it feels damn good, and just, I'm getting on a pedestal here, but watching these guys grow, it gives me energy. It makes me want to work more. It lights a fire more bold and strong every single time, and I'm always kind of taken aback every time I get that feeling.
I mean, just looking at the expression on your face while you respond to my question, I feel, I feel emotionally, excited. I mean, your response is not like, "Oh, Roswell, yeah, I made a difference. Okay, next question." You're like, you emphasize how you say it, and I speak on behalf of everyone who's looking at this. We can tell that your heart is in it. Your love is there, and you really care about those people. I mean, and so what you're doing is just not a job. It's more to you than what
Sure.
than what I could imagine. Because to me, I'm like, oh, okay, it's Hero Body Project, whatever. But to you, you're 101% into it, and you're very completely devoted. Okay, that's the key word here, David. You're devoted to what you're doing, and not many people that I know um, would actually be that devoted. So, I just want to say, okay, that's my, so, but let me ask you a quick question, bro. Years ago, did you ever dream that you would be at this stage in your life where you're actually reaching out to people and you're making a difference and they're like, you know, Thank you, thank you, thank you, David. Did you? Is there
No,
something that you expect? You know, we all had
no.
dreams when we were kids. We dreamed of being astronauts, doctors, dancers, and whatever. But not, mind body project man. So how did it occur, bro? Like how?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting ride. It's been interesting. So I kind of alluded earlier to the fact that when I was younger, I was very shy. I was a type B introvert. I gathered all my energy from being by myself. I used to draw a lot. I don't know if I told you about first 2.5, 3 years in college, I was a studio art major. I
Oh,
would just 3 hours twice a week. I'm drawing in whatever classes, and that was my thing. So I spent a lot of, I still do spend an awful lot of time by myself, but that's just kind of how I am. And through playing competitive soccer, through a couple of random sales jobs I've had, just how it is. Life requires you to step out of your competency circle and test yourself in things that you can be at least a little bit confident with, right? It stretches you. So over time, I just kind of started doing these things, and I guess the easiest way to describe it is, um, after I hung up my boots and wasn't playing competitively anymore, I got a job selling supplements at a place. What was it first? It was a NutriShop first, and it turned into something else. But it was sales, which I was terrified of. I don't know why I took the job, but it forced me to at least talk about stuff I enjoyed. And I ended up doing that, and I ended up training for a while. And I met a local natural bodybuilding pro there in South Austin. He was like, "Hey, man, you should just come work out with us." So I did, and I ended up doing a couple of shows. My second show, I won the novice middleweight class and the overall, and it was awesome. I kind of just doing the things that I loved. I feel like the universe was just saying, "Hey, man, like you're gonna have to be okay, a little bit at least being in the spotlight sometimes." Right? So people started asking me for advice constantly. I ended up doing personal training and discovered I was a geek about nutrition, which was crazy to me because in college I avoided biologies and chemistries like the plague. Like I didn't think I could do it. So it's funny how things come full circle. But then I kind of turned off the paved road, so to speak, and worked with a couple of different coaches, one nutrition, one mindset, one business, and I just kind of started seeing how these guys showed up, and the way they showed up was different. The energy was different. The To use your word, the devotion. It was not something status quo. And all of these guys, I think, stumbled on the phase I'm in now, which is what I do. I feel compelled to do. It's like I don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like I wake up every morning and I'm already borderline, excuse me, borderline obsessing over the next video I'm making, or when I make this next live feed or this piece of content, like, man, am I really going to impact somebody's life with just a couple of minutes? And it seems like maybe a little bit of overkill because in marketing, it's cumulative, right? It's exposure, it's brand awareness, it's whatever else, all that stuff. Um, but that kind of through that and I don't want to say I'll say solopreneurship. Through solopreneurship, it really teaches you, no matter who you are, to survive and find creative ways to make things happen. And that initiated a practice for me of really just kind of going inward and sorting out, like, hey man, like I know David, I know you got low self-confidence. I know self-worth is something you've battled your whole life, but look at what you're doing. Like look at the measurable proof that you created just in this 20-30 minute conversation with this guy, or what you did with this person with their physique. And I started to do what I teach my clients to do, which is entertain what's possible. So I guess up to about a year and a half ago, I started entertaining this idea of like, hey, like I've been doing in the fitness industry for almost 2 decades now. I ran a team of competitors, bodybuilding, physique, uh, what's the other one? Bikini, figure, the whole nine. Kind of fell out of favor with that just because the direction the industry was going. But I was like, man, what's the hook? You know, what's the deal? Like, these people are getting on stage looking like superheroes, but they feel like trash. Um, and it's like, I don't, let me fix that. My clients didn't feel like trash. Yes, they were tired. Yes, they were a little bit hungry, but it was always health centric. Like, just want to be clear about that. Um, but overall in the industry, people coming off and just cramming donuts down because they haven't had anything to eat in 3 days. I'm just like, this isn't right, man. There's something wrong here. You know, and I get it. It's a sport. You do what you do to compete. I'm not taking that away. But for the human experience, I just thought there had to be something more. And so most recently, I've just kind of been meandering through, you know, what works and what doesn't, and how can I show up in the marketplace, and everything I can do to just kind of help these people out. And a month ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I finally, uh, maybe a little bit more than that, it finally hit me, the title of the Hero Body Project, and I was like, this is it. It's the hero's arc, the hero's journey, you know. And I started taking that literary ideology and placing it over my curriculum and going, well, I'm already doing half this stuff, right? There, everybody's in the status quo. They're in the ordinary world, and they're like, hey, I don't like my body. I'm gonna be very direct. Some guys are like, my body sucks. Like, this is torture, right? And they look in the mirror, and then they see an ad, or they see hopefully some of my content, and it's the call to adventure, and then they convince themselves they can't do it, and then it's, you know, crossing the threshold after they meet the mentor, which would be me in this case. um, but then there's the test enemies and allies, and they go through this whole thing, and I'm going back looking at the interviews and seeing, rather remembering conversations I've had with past clients, and I'm looking at the curriculum and the missions I had them do every weekend, and screenshots of, you know, the drawings I'm making with our one-on-one calls. I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm already doing it. I would be doing myself and my future clients a disfavor if I didn't just give into this idea, or just allow it to continue to compel me forward. So that's where it's at right now. That's where you've seen inside the group now over the course of the last probably 2 months or so. I'm dropping these videos where it's just kind of like, selfishly, I've always wanted to take guys and physically put them in the movie, right? Because, you know, it's like, any movie you watch, Hollywood can glorify a janitor. It's the villain to hero arc. It's any profession, they can glorify it. And so I was like, man, if that's the case, I can do anybody. I can help them get in that driver's seat and make them feel like they are the super soldier, they are the warrior, they are the covert operative, right? And that's what you're seeing inside the group, where it's something fun, for me, that ties into specifically why I work exclusively with men now, because I'm a man. As boys, we always wanted to be a superhero. We want, how many people are watching this, guys, that played army when they were younger, like played guns and like all that sort of thing. It's just like, it's ingrained in us. It's in our DNA. It's in our culture. It's something that is irrefutable. And I think the power inside of that lends itself very organically to that sort of flow, no matter what you're doing. I just happen to be in the fitness arena. So that's where I am right now.
I know. So what you talking? I keep thinking about He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I mean,
No,
I've
I
always
watch
wanted
that.
to be like He-Man, bro. I mean, I still do. I just got to work. I just got to work on on the power of Grayskull stuff here. But I was,
Yeah.
that was like, someone I'm like, yeah, that's me in a couple of gears and whatever. Just
Yeah.
riding on a tiger, this hot chick on my back. I got the powers to
Yeah.
just fighting crime. Well, that was, G.I. Joe and like, Captain
Yeah.
America, X-Men and He-Man and
Uh-huh. I mean, even Ninja Turtles. I was a huge Ninja Turtles fan.
Oh
Generation One.
yeah, Ninja.
I might be dating myself here. Generation One Ninja Turtles was my jam. But that, I mean, Roswell, you kind of allude to, I'm talking about all the cool stuff in all the front end user interface, we'll call it, type stuff. But man, the guys that have gone through my program, and the new cohort of 5 guys that are currently in the Hero Body Project Acceleration Brotherhood, it's work. No superhero uh, made it or became who they were without massive tragedy. Now, I'm not suggesting that to. I mean, look at Batman. Watched his parents get murdered in an alley when he was like 6. Right? Awful, horrible, horrible scenario. Superman. Uh, for those comic buffs out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his planet blew up and he had to leave. Like he had to leave home. Like bad stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
Bad stuff happens in order for people to acknowledge, go through the pain, find the power on the other side of it, and acknowledge that their suffering is not for naught. It is because they are purposed, they are coded to do something great. But that doesn't come without focused, driven, honest work. And I always tell my guys there's 2 frames that we do literally everything through. And these 2 frames take practice, especially for guys. Is number 1, be honest, and more often than not, it's about being honest with yourself and do the work in front of you. Don't do the work that's a week ahead. Don't do the work that's 2-3 months ahead. Don't worry about problems that haven't even manifested yet. Just do what's in front of you. And I think that's really what gets guys through the grueling workouts. That gets them. I mean, to be honest with you, Roswell, the workouts, the nutrition, that's the easy part for guys who are not trained and educated to acknowledge that their feeling and emotion have massively potent power, and they can transmute that energy into whatever they want. Um, it's a bit of a locomotive getting things started, right? It's slow and steady, and that's really, for most guys, that's where the real work is. And I think Desiree, the client that you alluded to earlier with the video that we just watched, and one of the other guys in there, Francisco, I played soccer in high school with him. They are, nutrition isn't new to them. Training isn't new to them, but surrounding it in this new frame and addressing it in a way that every step gives them hope, gives them an opening to possibility it's completely new. And I think that's where that's where these guys are having these massive breakthroughs.
Yes. I'm just, I'm sorry, man. I was just thinking about the superhero stuff. Um, I may be a little off there when I think about Spider-Man. Like how Peter Parker became Spider-Man. And his uncle. You remember that part where his uncle
His uncle got shot,
and
yeah.
his uncle said, "Okay, what is it? Great powers go with great responsibility." Peter.
With great power comes great responsibility.
And
Yep.
and I take that I take that up to this day, with what I do. Um, like for example, there are many times, David, I want to drop out as I normally don't tell people or the public, my personal stuff that goes on, but as everyone knows, my dad has Alzheimer's, and he's like he can't eat anymore. He's like on his last lifeline. He has a tube in his stomach, and that's one of the reasons I got to go back home just this summer. This might be my last summer with my dad. But before my dad got sick, it's a psychology that's killing me every day. And I keep thinking about Peter Parker and when his uncle died, and so my dad always told me, do good, go out there, become a doctor, promote dancer, just do stuff unconditionally without expectations. Just do it, Ross. Just do it, son, because it's the right thing to do. And sometimes it
Yeah.
kills me, like I don't want to be smart. I don't want to go to school. I want to go dancing every night. I just, hell with morals, hell with heaven, why become a doctor to help people and stuff? Like they're not going to help me. Why help dancers? Why go to their events? Why have a cool photo of the bachata Facebook and promote these people? I'm not getting a penny off of this. So and I keep thinking about Peter Parker, when, his uncle died and Peter had no choice. Like every time he tried to be bad or evil or not do the right thing, he does the right thing because of that
Mhm.
promise he made to his uncle, similar to my father, David. So because of that stuff that I think about every single day, it's what's making me here, right? I make actually why I'm interviewing you and more people coming up, because this is, I'm thinking about my dad, saying do the right thing and it's just right, and just,
Hmm.
just do it. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and I know I'm a little off the topic with what you're saying, but it's kind of similar because as men, okay, we struggle, with
Hmm.
ourselves, right? Whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, so psychologically, whatever, we
All of it.
struggle.
All,
We struggle, but we end up doing the right thing. At least most of us do. And I think that where the stuff that you're telling us about comes in. I think by you providing guidance and support to the men who listen to you and who gets involved with what you're telling them and all of that stuff, I don't know if you know it, David, but you actually help them to solve that struggle,
sure.
right? I mean, no, maybe no. Let me back up here. Maybe I'm just assuming stuff, which I'm not. But,
Or at
I
least like
believe I'm
recognize,
on the
right?
right track here.
Acknowledge. Yeah, yeah. I hear what you're saying, and I have to agree with you. I think it all, like it's like the Venn diagram. It's all these pieces are not interdependent, right? There's a little bit of overlap, and I think that that thing your dad told you, just do good, do good. I think there's an extremely tremendously powerful subtlety there, and that is legacy. And it's been said that what we do is our history, what we set in motion is our legacy, right? And so while you're in here giving your time and inviting people in, and just growing this bachata group, um, this is something you are setting in motion. This is a big deal for sorry.
Is that my
This is it.
is that my car or your car? Okay.
No, that's
Okay. Sorry. I thought it
no.
was my car. I'm sitting on
No.
my car keys, man. If ever, I'm sitting on my car keys. I thought it was like, oh God. Okay. I'm so
So
sorry, bro. Got nervous there for a second.
no,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. That's why I paused. I was like, am I sitting on mine? Um, no, so I think it's a big deal. I think the things that we do that are not for the short term, or what we can actually see, oftentimes become the most powerful moves that we can make. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it can't get any more clearer. I mean, what you said, it's true to the heart. Okay.
Hmm.
Um. Let me ask you a quick question, bro. And everything you're saying, I'm absorbing, because it applies to me. Not only whoever's listening to this, but most of the stuff. I'm taking it, I'm soaking it in. You know. Now, cool folks love the bachata, right? You're on this wonderful Facebook, right? Now, there's a lot of dancers here that are listening to you, organizers, even my instructors, and big top people, and not even know who else is listening. How can everything you just said, um, how can it help them, the dance world, like specifically dancers? Like, I mean, a dancer, they've been, some people I know, they've been doing it for 20 something years. They're about to retire. You have top notch instructors that are like on television and stuff, but it would not hurt them, it would not hurt them to actually, apply the stuff that you just talked about. How can it? I mean, I don't know, Dave. I mean, do you feel it could help the dance world? It could help, like, and how? Like, how can this help our dancers and all the people that are listening to this? How can this make things a little bit more enhanced for them? You tell
Well, I
us. You,
think
you tell us what you think. You tell us what you think.
I haven't. I feel like, call it what it is. Guys are half of the dance world, right? You show up, and it's half ladies, half guys. At least that was my experience, right? Um, so I hadn't really considered a whole lot with the idea of, is what I'm doing going to affect the dance world? my mentality is still, and maybe I need to start thinking bigger. But my mentality is, how can I impact the man in front of me, the guy who's dealing with uh, being overweight, or dealing with a consistently negative mindset, or drowning in food because he doesn't know the difference between a carb and why saturated fats are so bad for your HDL. Um, so I'm thinking of just the micro, I think, but knowing that guys populate part of at least part of the dance world. Um, I think some of those lessons, some of those tactics are ubiquitous across any domain. It's another shout out to Inspired Movement. One of the things they taught was about being present, so you can have connection. Because without the connection, things can become forced. Things can become favored. Your movements become unnecessarily jarring, or you miss the timing on a step or something like that. So I wonder if guys, if they go through my curriculum, go through my acceleration brotherhood, and they acknowledge what it means to become a proper alpha guy, not this toxic masculinity garbage that's been perpetuated in the mainstream, to get in touch with what makes them human. I think those sorts of things, that being that present, being fit, working for longevity, setting proper boundaries for yourself, being healthy, self care for guys is very often low on the totem pole. Um, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that we touch on inside of inside the brotherhood that could very possibly positively influence at least how a guy shows up in the dance world. And I think beyond that, it's up to the individual.
No, because I'm just thinking, and I'm sorry if I'm not checking with you before asking you this. It's just something I just thought about, and forgive me, David, but I'm just
No,
thinking that, COVID kind of like over, and everyone is, back on the dance floor, and, everyone wants to, keep that physique beautiful, dancer shape and stuff, and, you know, overcame that depression, overcame all the sick, So, for me, I'm talking about everyone else, and you talk about me. So, I should practice what I preach. I'm one of those people that, David, what you don't know is that, um, when I was sick with COVID, I lost, some of my cognitive abilities. Like not only did the COVID, wipe my ears out, it became deaf in this air, could not breathe. I lost basic motor functions, how to talk, how to think,
wow,
how to
okay,
remember I forgot how to dance basic bachata. So that's one of the reasons I moved to Miami because up in New York, New Jersey, things were shut down with COVID, and I fell into depression after 6 months. I'm like, it's either I do something or I'm going to end up 6 feet under, right?
yeah, you got to
So
move. You got to make a
I
move.
moved I moved out to Miami, and I had my Dance Awakening. God bless them. They literally held my hand. Say Roswell, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, the basic of bachata, like inspired movement, what they showed you. I had to relearn how to be sexy again on the dance floor, David. I had to, relearn how to spin, how to approach a woman, how to dance with her. The COVID knocked half of that out, and I had to relearn. It took almost a year for me to get back into the
Wow.
dance world. Yes. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I guess the question that I asked you just now, well, not fair because that question wasn't really for my audience that's listening. It's really for me. So your answer just helped me. Just so you know,
Good,
it helped me.
good. I'm happy.
It helped me. Okay. Just want to say thank you for your response. Now I want to ask you I'm going to ask you another weird question. Forgive me. As everyone knows, I majored in psychology, so I ask like the psycho questions. So please, so
Sure.
David, when you see me in New Jersey, I want you to slap me. Now the stuff that you have is helping the guys, right? Now we don't want to
Hmm.
leave the women out, the females. right? Like the wonderful, beautiful lady with the hat in the video and stuff. Like, how do you
Mhm.
think? I don't know, maybe next year or whatever. I mean, is there like a plan or a way or something that's up in the works that you could share that could also target the female population as well as the male population? I know you mentioned a brotherhood, maybe like a sisterhood. You think or something? I
You
don't
know,
know. I don't know.
for
It's a stupid question, but like, let me just ask anyway because you're a
well, I
nice
don't no,
guy,
I don't think.
so I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you have a massive audience. I don't think that's a silly question at all. Um, I most recently, well, I don't want to say most recently, about 6 months ago, I decided that, you know, uh, for me, um, it was just kind of like that next level of being able to connect with my clientele and really continue to move them forward. And while I had a lot of success coaching, Desiree is the client that you referenced. Her and her partner Barbara, I worked with them both, and I've known them for years. Even Desiree is one of the girls I put on stage a couple times, and she did fantastic. But it was just one of those things where with my guy clients, I was able to very naturally move them in the direction that made the most sense, or at least open it up to them. Um, Whereas with my female clients, I found myself feeling like I needed to change my verbiage, change my tone a little bit, adjust maybe some of my marketing. And it started to feel, initially it was fine. It is what I did, right? But the more I went inward for myself and discovered what I needed to do and how I show up best, I was like, I gotta coach guys only. Like, this is the thing. But here's the thing is, what I teach is not necessarily very new. The way it's packaged, I'm not seeing a lot of people do that at all. Um, but I don't know. I think the key is that the fundamentals inside of the curriculum, I feel like, can work for anybody. Um, it's just how it's packaged.
I like that, how it's packaged. I like that. That's I like that response. It makes sense. I do. No, it's great. It's great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. That's about as far as I got with it.
No, it's cool. It's cool. David, let me ask you a quick question. There's a lot of young people, maybe my niece or nephews are looking at this while I talk with you, and maybe you are already their role models, and you don't know. They want to be the next. They want to be the next David Archer. Now I'm just getting my nephews like it because my nephews, they're like, oh, taking care of themselves, they're into fitness, being healthy, all that stuff. And what advice, bro? What advice can you give to young ones who want to follow in your footsteps, man?
To young ones who want to be uh, a men's coach. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess
You're funny, bro. That's a good answer. That's a good.
yeah.
No,
That's
but no, my nephew. Forgive me, nephew. It's not. It's David is the one that responded, not me. If you're listening, go ahead, David. Try
um,
it.
okay. Give me some. Well, I guess young ones. Uh, I mean, number one, don't be afraid of being honest with yourself. About what you want.
Okay.
Uh, that's I feel like that's a big one at any age. When you don't know what you want, be okay with it. Life is a bit of a journey. It's an exploration. And when you find something you are passionate about, recognize that the best way to immerse yourself in that is very often through doing the hard work. So don't be afraid of getting your hands dirty.
Okay. Okay, that works for me. I just have to, after our interview, I have to call my nephews to see if it works for
Run that by you.
they're, I don't want, so, but yeah, I'm cool with it, bro. Yeah, I'm fine with it. But no, but it's true. I mean, it's all, know what you want and stuff. And, I mean, it's so true. It's simple. Life can, I just thought about something, bro. Life could be simple or it could be difficult. It's how you make it, not you person, but how a person actually wants that life to be.
Hmm.
And so listening to you talk, it makes me feel that maybe life could be a little bit more simplified for me if I wanted to be simplified. I always
Yeah,
believe on, and maybe I'm going a little bit out of this interview stuff, but I always believe that, oh God, like you're in control of your destiny. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I forgot who
sure.
told me this. I don't know if it's high school, someone said that, oh, my friend from Brazil, Eduardo, if you're listening, my good friend from Brazil, he came here and I met him many, many years ago, and he said, Roswell, I'm complaining that, I can't, I don't have a relationship. I'm not married. I can't find a decent job. I have a bad car, and I have, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Roswell, you know, you are, you are your destiny. You know, the next step you make, it's how your life will be. It's not about that bad luck, or you just don't know how to talk or read, or you're not educated. It's just that how you kind of like put the horn, or you take life. That's it. Take life by its horn. I'm sorry. That's what I'm trying to say. Take life by
Life
its
by the
horn.
yeah.
Forgive me. I had a long day, man. So take life by its horn.
All good, all good.
And I didn't think about that, and this is 20 years ago, 22 years ago. It's only now, because of what you say, I'm thinking about what my friend Eduardo said. So, so I don't know. I mean, for me, I always believe that, and it's true, because, stuff that I do, I always believe that, you are who you are. You are, there's some stuff in life, you can really can't control, sickness, death, what, I can walk out there and it could snow or rain on my head. I can't control that, but I can still control how I react to that rain or that thunderstorm or that sickness, and I believe more and more and more in that as I get older. I am in control of my destiny, right? So
Yeah,
I just wanted to
100%.
squeeze that in a little bit, based upon what you said. And I apologize if I'm just not making sense here, but I go.
No, no, I feel like you hit the nail on the head, and it's acknowledging uh, and recognizing on paper that yes, the one real thing that we have control over is our own thoughts and how we react to certain things. But putting that into practice is an entirely different thing, right? And you know from your academic history that it's sometimes it goes back to us and the stuff that we consumed up until about the age of 7. And then what are the habits? What are the character traits? What, like, who do you believe yourself to be? What's your identity? And that influences how you perceive the world and act inside of it. So, yeah, I mean, it's simple to say, like, man, we should just make life easy. Um, but that back to this hero's journey, it's a whole revolution. It's a whole uh, endeavor to get to a place where for most guys we're okay with simply accepting that fact and giving ourselves permission to live in that way. um, it's a beautiful thing, though. I feel like that going through that really is the glory of being on this planet of living.
That's great. I like your responses. No, it's great. I'm just not saying that. When you respond to my question, it's so peaceful. It's so like, it's like people are like, talk more, David. We want to hear more. You have that. How can I say it? You have that peaceful response voice. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, when I talk to, like, I'm afraid to ask them the next question.
Yeah,
You're like, Roswell, ask me more, ask me more. That's a feeling I get. So
yeah.
that's great, bro. Um, okay, we've been talking for like an hour and a half. I know you have stuff to do, but bro, tell us some stuff this summer. What are some big plans going on? And it doesn't have to be about the homebody stuff. I mean, what are some stuff you would like to share to the public? And it doesn't have to be dance related. What are some big projects, or maybe some events that you would encourage? I don't know, people in New Jersey, I guess, or what are some stuff you would like to share, or or make people be aware of? Any big events or stuff
Oh,
that you would encourage
I am,
them to come to or be a part of this
man.
summer? Or
I'm the worst. I'm the worst when it comes to paying attention to what's going on around me. To be fair, like I'm kind of in a phase right now where it really is just about enjoying waking up early, working, getting to the gym, a little bit of self care, getting back to my laptop, um, just kind of on a bit of a solo mission, on a bit of a solo mission for the next few months. So, um, but I don't know, go to a concert, have fun. I definitely am going to get back into a dance class at some point in the very near future. It's just something that has come up for me in the last couple of months, and it's just kind of like, hey, all right, man, it's time to get back in there. So, but yeah, I don't have anything on my schedule other than just kind of grinding right now, to be honest with you, with this Your Body project.
no, that's great. That's your priority, man. That's great, and I respect you for making that number one. Again, devotion and love. I mean, so I respect you for that.
Thank
I don't have the mindset to do what you do, but you do. So I respect you, and I speak on behalf of everyone that's listening to this interview. What you're doing is pure, and it's good, and it's from your heart, right? So and I just want everyone to know real quickly. This cool folks love the bachata. There's a reason I put cool because you guys are not cool because you guys are just rich and famous and beautiful and dancers. You guys are cool because you guys are those things, but you guys have a good heart. You guys know what family is, what commitment is, what friends is, what loyalty is, and so I'm very, so David, I just want to say, I know you just joined our group recently, but I carefully select, the people to join here because we all have all 2,800. We all have 2,800. Uh, we all have something in common, just like you. We all have a good heart.
you.
Okay, that's one thing we all have. Whether we're in New Jersey, whether we're dancers, whether we're doctors, whether we're fathers, whether we're husbands, whatever, we all have a good heart. That's what all 2,800 of us share. And I'm going to mention this also in a couple weeks at my Dance Awakening event. I'm going to emphasize that, that I am very honorable to have you, David, and the rest of you guys on this Bachata Facebook. It is not a typical Facebook, as most of you know. I mean, there's a lot of interaction, there's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. It's not just, oh, someone has an event today. You guys got to go. Oh, no, no, no. That's old school. I don't do that. That's old school. I like to, you know, take it to always take things to the next level. And David, you're an example of that. And I wanted to introduce you to our group, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud to have you among us. Okay, I
I
can't
appreciate that.
emphasize that
Thank you.
anymore, sir. Okay, so I want you to continue doing what you're doing, share your stuff, network with, there's a whole bunch of people in your area. You can maybe go to their events.
Mhm.
They can learn more about the stuff that you do and all of that stuff. So I encourage you to, you know, just get a more of a network going. And I appreciate you coming on. And sadly, you gotta go, bro. I'm trying to think what I should ask you. It's like I don't
Hey,
want you to. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I don't want
life
you to
goes on.
go. I have no, but I don't. I'm trying to think. What else can I ask you that's professional? I'm trying, but I don't want you to go. You seem like such a nice guy. You remind me of my nephew. You remind me of my nephew. You got that nice smile, and you're a very positive, brave young man. So and successful too. Successful too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Um, but it was a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll connect when you know, somewhere in New Jersey when I come back this summer or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds good, Roswell. I really appreciate you having me on. And I'm always happy to share.
All right, bro. You have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay. I want to see more of your posting. I'm looking out for more of your your postings on our Bachata Facebook. I love them. We all love them.
All right.
We all love them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, we'll do.
Have a good night, my friend.
All right, see ya.
Okay.